History would be made in the Volvo Ocean Race. Never before in the 45-year running of the event has the competition been so close heading into the final stage of the race. With 3 teams in a virtual tie for the lead, the Leg 11 sprint from Gothenburg, Sweden to The Hague in the Netherlands promised an epic, dramatic, and unprecedented finale to the world's premier offshore race. Mapfre, Team Brunel, and Dongfeng Race Team could all still win the race. Their finishing position on this last leg would determine their final position on the podium. After 44,000 miles of racing at sea, it would all come down to a 970-mile coastal classic.
It's not incredible to be in a position because we would prefer to be in a better position with a big lead, but it's an incredible situation for the race. I think it's very good for the race because I think these 3 teams have done a fantastic job and give a fantastic fight on the water since 9 months now with fantastic sailor on all of the team, and to win and beat all of them will be just amazing for the winner.
I think that's something what we know that especially one particular red boat, they're getting very nervous, and another red boat has a bad history. If you think back about Telefonica, that they actually would have had it in the bag and then they lost it. So in that sense, we don't feel any pressure. Of course, there's some pressure, but that's just a natural one. But I think just the people who we're having on board, I think we might be having psychologically a step forward as well.
Yeah, well, amazing for us. I'm very happy to be part of one of the 3. It would be very hard for me if we were out of the fight. So happy from there. Happy for us as a team sponsor, and of course for Volvo and the whole sport. And I was talking to them as well this morning, and we're lucky enough. I think everyone is watching, so it's been good, and to be honest, raises a few questions for the future too.
Gothenburg, the proud home of Volvo, hosted a stopover for the 4th time, entertaining thousands of Swedish fans, all looking to get their very own Volvo Ocean Race experience. They crowded into the race village on Thursday to bid the teams farewell on the final leg to The Hague.
Ready?
Also racing to The Hague were 12 legend boats, veterans from 7 of the past editions of the race that had come for another chance at victory in a friendly race from Gothenburg to The Hague. Sweden delivered ideal conditions for the start, with the Volvo Ocean Race fleet surrounded by a large flotilla of boats taking advantage of the midsummer holiday. At the start, Dongfeng Race Team found a clean lane to windward, but Xavi Fernandez's Mapfre and Bauer Becking's Team Brunel were entangled at the leeward end of the line. Mapfre ended up boxed out, needing to circle around before starting behind the fleet, a less than ideal start on a critical leg. Blasting away from the coast of Gothenburg, Simeon Tienpont and Team AkzoNobel took an early lead from Dongfeng Race Team. Close in pursuit was SHK Scallywag, with the boss, Mr. Lee, steering the boat. The teams would now face an upwind battle to the Norwegian coast in shifty conditions.
Yeah, so going for the start, we got a bad start. Basically, we weren't laying the pin, so we had to tack, and then obviously we had to give Brunel room, so we had to tack back and basically lost the start. And we've tacked out now. We're above everybody, and hopefully we can gain back some ground on them.
The first 12 hours of the leg presented several passing lanes as the fleet tacked up towards the turning mark off the Norwegian coast in changeable conditions. Dongfeng Race Team rounded the turning mark at the head of the fleet after holding back countless attacks from the trailing teams. Mapfre had stolen a march on the fleet. After having been last out of Gothenburg, Xavi Fernandez's crew sailed fast and efficiently to sit just behind Dongfeng Race Team at the mark. Vestas 11th Hour Racing rounded in 3rd, while Team AkzoNobel tussled with their Dutch rivals Team Brunel. And while both were fighting to be the first into The Hague, Team Brunel had a bigger mission. They needed to be ahead of Dongfeng Race Team and Mapfre to win the race.
Well, we just passed the mark in Norway. Maybe not the position what we hoped for, but still a long way to go. It's nearly, the sun is coming up again, and it's I think 1:30 or 2 o'clock at night, so we just remember how nice it is and how fortunate we are that we can sail in this kind of conditions.
The next mark of the course was back to the south, just off the Danish city of Aarhus. With the winds forecast to ease, the race was far from over. In front of thousands of spectators, Dongfeng Race Team rounded the turning mark only minutes ahead of Mapfre. For the Danish sailors in the fleet, this flyby was a special moment. Vestas 11th Hour Racing's Jenna May Hansen and Team Axonobel's Nikolai Sehested were the stars of the show for thousands of Danish fans.
I'm so happy, I'm so proud to be Danish right now. I'm so happy to be here in Aarhus and in Denmark. And this is the largest amount of people we've seen. I think it's so spectacular. I'm so moved and so touched. I saw my family and my friends, and wow, thank you so much, all of Denmark and Aarhus City, and for coming and watching us. It was amazing. Thank you.
Light and shifty conditions would challenge the teams as they pushed back to the north. They rounded the Norway turning mark for the last time. But 8 hours later, winds would build to over 30 knots, while boat speeds soared into the mid-20s. The navigators now faced a make-or-break decision: how to navigate the maze of shipping exclusion zones between them and the finish line in The Hague. With less than 400 miles to run, the fleet split into two groups. To the west, Team Axonobel, Vestas 11th Hour Racing, Team Brunel, and Mapfre. Opting to stay close to the Danish, German, and Dutch coastlines would be Dongfeng Race Team, Turn the Tide on Plastic, and SHK Scallywag.
We've chosen a path inshore, so it's a lot of very tricky navigation. We've got all sorts of sandbanks and traffic separation schemes, and some very changeable weather. So I suspect no one's going to get any rest tonight. It's going to be a very busy night, changing sails and just navigating our way through it all.
We managed to catch up now with Mapfre and Dongfeng and Vestas, so it's actually pretty close now between the top 5 boats, which is cool, but it'll be quite nerve-wracking, I guess, on board those boats, fighting for the win of the whole race in these final hours. So yeah, stress on board them. We're just enjoying it, sailing as fast as we can, and hopefully we win the leg.
After 9 months and 45,000 miles of racing, the question of who would win the Volvo Ocean Race hinged on the final 40 miles. With the top 3 teams all still in the running, the decision to split east or west was the critical factor. The offshore boats had the early advantage, but they were in a dying breeze. The inshore group, led by Dongfeng Race Team, was charging down the coast and eating up the deficit mile by mile. As the two groups converged at the final turning mark just 5 miles from the finish, Dongfeng Race Team finally slipped ahead of their rivals on Mapfre. The Chinese flag team, led by Charles Caudrelier, went on to take their first leg victory, and with it, the overall Volvo Ocean Race win.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't really realize. It's the first time I cry for a race, I think. I've been crying a lot since the finishing line, and it's the first time of my life I cry for that. I'm so sad for the other one. I'm so sad for Shabi because it's a good friend, and I know how much it costs to do this race to a skipper. And this is I think about it, and also about Bo. We did a fantastic comeback, and yeah, but this is the race.
Team Axonobel would be second across the finish line and beat their Dutch rivals into their home port. Mapfre took third on the leg, resulting in a second-place finish in the overall standings. Bauer Becking and Team Brunel were fourth into The Hague to grab the final podium place on the overall race leaderboard. For Becking, his attempt to finally claim victory in his 8th attempt just wasn't to be. Turn the Tide on Plastic were fifth, SHK Scallywag 6th, and Vestas 11th Hour Racing followed the fleet across the line. The celebrations are set to continue all week in The Hague, with the Brunel Import Race expected to draw a huge crowd on Saturday. Before that, there will be a Dutch showdown when Team Brunel take on Team AkzoNobel in a one-on-one match race, right in front of the home fans off the beach in the race village. The 2017-18 Volvo Ocean Race will conclude with the final awards night on Saturday evening.